the Wonbyone Podcast. I'm your host, Wonbyone. I'm here joined today with six-time All-American, a coach in her own right now, working with high school, youth, college athletes in the track space. I'm here with Sabrina Parr. Sabrina, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
What's going on?
I
Where?
also let me
Yeah,
correct
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
really quickly. So
Talk to
I
me.
don't just work with track athletes. I actually started off working with football athletes. I work with all athletes that need to increase their speed and
Speed.
endurance.
Okay, okay. And
Yes, so that's a huge misconception because I was a track athlete and we're always at the track.
yeah.
But it's I've had lacrosse, soccer, a lot of basketball guys, mostly football. A lot of the football guys do run track also. So, they train with me all year round when they're not in season. But so it's not specific to track and field. It's specific to whoever really needs to get better at running, speed, and speed endurance.
Well, can you help me?
Are
Look,
you still playing?
look.
Are you still playing? I only work with people who
So,
still trying to be out
don't
there.
put me on the spot like that. That's crazy.
I'm just saying, because
Uh,
sometimes y'all don't let it go. Y'all keep
chill
trying
out.
to
Wow, that's
get back out there.
crazy. And he
So
over there
I
laughing.
don't
That's crazy. Nah,
know.
no, straight up though. No, for real. It's am I still playing? I'll answer that. I'm trying to. You know how it is, man. I've
Okay,
been
that's real.
been pro for, almost a decade. Dealing with injuries, dealt with a lot of injuries. So I'm in a phase right now, kind of like I'm dipping my foot into business and post sports, but I'm also working and training every day and trying to get back. Everybody asks me about, am I going to go back just the same way? But that's just, it's like that when you're dealing with injuries. It's difficult to say, but I would love to. But when we talk
My
about track,
question,
though,
my question to
yeah,
you, because
yeah.
we're going to have an open
Oh,
conversation,
I
right?
like this. I like this. I
My
like this.
question to you is, I know people always ask, like, are you going to get back out there, right? My
Uh huh.
question is always, why do you want to get back out there? Like,
Ooh.
what else does the game need to give you that it already hasn't given you?
Well, for me specifically, I just be honest with you. I love it. I mean, I love to I love playing. I love competing at a high level, and I still have the want to. So a lot of times I deal with like a lot of my friends, my guys that I grew up with, or guys playing overseas. They're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years in, 12 years in, and they're like, man, I just don't know if I want to sacrifice my family, sacrifice my life, sacrifice everything to go travel to Europe and play the game. But me, I enjoy it. I love this. I love being overseas. I love competing at a high level, like I said. And when I got injured, I was in Madrid. The year I tore my ACL, it was on paper, my best season. I was in the best league in the world in the ACB in Spain, one of the leading scorers in that league. Tore my ACL the last game of the season, the first play of the game. And so for me to just kind of build my game up and build my um, my person, my not just stats, but my name overseas, to be able to build that up and then to just end like that for me was tough. And like I said, if I don't ever go back and play, then that's not what God had for me. If I do end up going back and play, I just hope I'm trying to stay ready and be ready to go and take that challenge. So that's a good question though.
I
But
always just struggle with guys that are like, oh, I'm in year 19. I got to get year 20. I'm just like, what else do you want to do?
yeah,
It's like they have a hard time transitioning to just being a businessman or maybe being on the other side of the
yeah,
game where you can still love it, you can still be involved in it, but maybe just working with
yeah, for
player
sure.
development. And that's going to be like my next phase of my performance program is just the mental side of like helping guys in particular transition out of it. It's like,
Mm,
you sacrifice your entire lives, you miss your children, your wife is irritated. Like everybody's waiting for you to sit down, and you're like, I don't want to sit down at
yeah,
all.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so it just causes so many different, disconnections just within your life. And
yeah,
my ex struggled with that. And I'm just like, bro, you were there 14 years. Like, let's figure out the next thing to where you're not forcing this. Like, what is the most natural thing? And I had, I struggled with this, but I had to also ask myself, what else am I good at? This is not it. This is not the only thing God made me good at as far as being an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have other talent and abilities, because for you, it's like, okay, if you don't play, is it a disappointment? Do you feel like you were short-handed? Like what would be the issue there if it never happened again? And these are
Yeah,
questions I just feel like people need to ask themselves.
yeah, no, for sure. For me, it was, you know, I felt like I took the hard path of like, started in the low division, worked my way up, worked my way up, worked my way up, and then got, I had five surgeries along my way, and had a lot of injuries, obviously, but to kind of be knocked off for me, that's kind of how I felt like I got shortchanged. Like I worked so hard to get here, and I felt like, okay, the year I got hurt, I was, I talk about this often, but I had signed to go play in Paris at the end of the season with Victor Wembanyama, the big French freak guy, right? I had signed to go play
Mm-hmm.
with him the last game of the season when I got injured. And for me, it was like, all right, I'm here now. Like I worked really hard. I worked my way up in Europe. And then to get injured was tough. And so I felt like I left a little bit on the table. I felt like I still had more to give to the game. And for me,
Yeah.
it's not that I don't have anything to do on the outside, like building a business, building a brand. I enjoy what I'm doing right now. Now, I mean, I talked to my agent. He's like, look, you're at the point now, you got to decide, do you want to go back over there and play with everything that you're building right now? And so that's the point that I'm at right now is like, I'm building all of these resources and everything that's building this brand here. And it's like, well, even if I do have the opportunity to go play now, it's like, now is it worth it? And so I would love to while I still can, if I still can. But if it doesn't happen, and that was the biggest thing for me was mentally pulling myself out of that. I struggled for a long time because I thought I have to go play basketball. If I don't play basketball, what else am I going to do? And
Yeah.
I know a lot of athletes are like that. And for me to,
Mm-hmm.
to fall back on my education, I got my degree in psychology, started my bachelor's. I wanted to do sports therapy and get into that field. And so I had kind of, building the brand, that's kind of what I had behind. But I love the game and I love teaching it. I love helping, others get to where they're trying to go to. So regardless of
I
the
can I
path,
can relate to you I've had 6 knee surgeries,
ooh,
and yeah, I'm very relatable, and like I don't talk about my stuff a lot because honestly people don't ask. They don't really ask me questions about me.
yeah.
For injuries, like what people don't talk about enough is everyone wants to go Division 1, but not every Division 1 program has have a good team of coaches.
Sure.
Like a lot of programs are hiding behind good athletes, so the coaches can be god awful, but you don't really know because you got top players on the team that are just doing their thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a lot of business stuff that happens within these programs too. Coaches in the middle of the year will just go take another job or whatever the case may be. And so I got caught up in, dealing with different coaches, getting injured, and never really fully recovered from the initial injury,
Mm-hmm.
and had to make a decision rather quickly. Like, do I continue to try to push through this injury or do I really start another career?
Mm-hmm.
And if I start another career, does that take away from who I am? Does it take away from my greatness? Like, who created this thing where if you don't play or run as long as possible, like, have you failed at it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the answer was no. You do not. Like some stuff only is supposed to happen during this season and then you transition to the next season. But yes, I went through a lot
So
with these surgeries.
so walk me through, we say 6-time All-American. Where are we at? What
Yes.
does that look like? Just walk me through your college journey. Was it at the same school the
So
entire time?
no, most of my so I became an All American the very first time my 8th grade year. Okay, so AAU, well, back then it wasn't even AAU, it was USATF track and field. So we see a lot of the USA meets where you can, as long as you qualify, you can run. You can be any age. We just saw Quincy qualify for the Olympics. It doesn't matter as long as you have a standard time. So anytime you finish top 8 in the country in your event, you become an All-American. So that started for me my 8th grade summer going into my 9th grade year. Every single year up and through my freshman year of college, I finished top 8 in an event or two or maybe 3 depending on what I was running. After for my freshman year of college is when I got injured, when I had my first set of surgeries. And I ended up having four surgeries my sophomore year. I'm done. Like, I'm literally didn't recover from the first surgery, had 4 more. I'm just done. And it's on the same knee, have no idea what's going on. The doctors really are kind of confused as well. You can only red shirt, blue shirt, black shirt so many times. It's only so many shirts available, and then it's at some point it's like, okay, you got to just go take care of yourself. I ended up losing my scholarship because I was just unable to compete, right?
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to come back. I'm going to walk on, I'm going to earn another spot. So I did that at a community college in California. So I'm at Cal State originally. After my sophomore year, I lose that scholarship because it's a business. And I don't want people to feel like, dang, that's so sad. It's a business. Mm-hmm. If you're unable to perform and compete, they have that money for somebody else, right? It is what it is.
Yeah.
So I try to get back healthy around my sophomore year, decide to walk on at a community college. And it's just, my healing is not really going as fast as I need it to be. And that was when I was like, okay, now I just got to focus on what am I going to do for my career. I'm in California. It's really expensive here. I'm no longer on scholarship. Yeah, I got, some financial aid assistance and things of that nature. I'm doing a work study job, just grinding, just trying to figure it out. And so after I finished at community college, I ended up going back home. For me, home is Cleveland, Ohio. So went home to finish. So I was majoring in communications. Ended up getting an internship at ESPN, one of the ESPN affiliates in Cleveland, Ohio. Very random. My high school coach just called me and said, listen, a spot just opened up. I think you should audition for it. I knew nothing about, anything at that time as far as like actually being on air. But I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? Right. So I go audition. I win the audition. They were all live auditions. And so at this time, I'm literally just, I think they called me like the prize goddess, so I literally just announced prizes that callers who called in would win. Like, it was very lame, like very lame. But, that was the position. I'm interning, I'm finishing my degree. So, this was back when like Braylon Edwards was playing for the Browns. And they had a very controversial, I don't know if you remember the story, but I'm just going to retell it. So Braylon Edwards got into a physical fight with one of LeBron James' friends. Okay. It was documented because police got involved in everything. This is why he got traded to the Jets. So the night, and Braylon didn't really get along with LeBron. They had like this, I'm the number 1 pick, he's the number 1 pick kind of thing going on. And it was really mostly on Braylon's end, if I'm just being honest. So, because, Braylon went number 1 overall to the Browns. Obviously, LeBron went number 1 overall to the Cavs. So, they're both these big guys, in Cleveland. So, long story short, the night that Braylon literally punched one of LeBron's friends, it was at a nightclub. I am there, right? Braylon's agent is there. And so it's all over the news the next morning, all over the news. And so it's our biggest headliner on ESPN. So I'm like, oh, I was there. I saw everything. Now I have a choice to actually be a witness and go on the show and talk about it. Or I can just be scary and be like, I'm not saying nothing. I don't want nobody mad at me. Mm-hmm. So I chose the latter. I went on the air and I discussed exactly what happened. It became so controversial and it was such good airtime. That is when I officially got hired on a position to be an official co-host of the show. So that led me and Austin Carr had a morning show. I did a TV show called Game Time. I did like 8 years just working in TV and sports radio in Cleveland. And so like that is when like my career officially started in that realm of things. And so it worked out pretty good, you know. I was the only female, I was the only black person on the air. So that was a struggle in itself. A lot of sexism involved.
Sure.
A lot of misogyny, like just a lot of things that you can only imagine that women go through. But once I finished there, that is when I officially became a full-time entrepreneur. And I started in the fitness space, working with athletes, working with adults. Mostly it was just adults, just like a weight loss program,
Okay.
you know, like just really helping adults lose weight. I was married, I was having children, so I was kind of using myself and my ex-husband as guinea pigs, and you know, like he used to play in the league, so I'm helping him stay in shape. You know, I'm staying in shape, and started this meal prep business. You know, was cooking for the Cavs coaches, cooking for a lot of the Browns players. And then that transitioned to me moving to Atlanta, where, you know, I'm now in the gyms and I'm just selling products, getting contracts with different gyms to sell my product. This is probably now like 2018. Once my kids became of age, like 7 and 8, and started kind of saying, like, Mommy, I want to run track. You know, I tried to find them a track coach. I'm like, let me just be a mom and sign you up. Back then, you know, I'm really good friends with Ted Ginn. You know, Ted Ginn Jr. played in the league like 14 years. You know, we're from the same area in Cleveland, Ohio. So he had a program. Now, he's still in the league at this time. He hadn't retired as of yet. But I knew he created a program called Ginn Elite. So he has like basketball teams, football teams, track teams. So I took my kids to that program, hated the coaching. I'm like, this is insane. What is going on? Like, I'm just complaining. I'm really trying to just be a mom in the stands at this point. But I'm just like, I can't watch this. So then I just offered to just like give them the workouts to do, right? And these are like all the football guys that are running track now. It's kind of what they're using for conditioning. And I'm giving them the workouts and just trying to help out a little bit. Long story short, I'm complaining so much. They're like, Sabrina, why don't you just take over? Like, we suck. You know, like Ted is still playing. He's not here. And I'm like, it's not really what I want to do, you know, because I'm still making good money in the fitness space and selling my products and just doing my thing. Then boom, I get another injury. So this is just a few years ago. Like, I get another surgery. This is now like my 5th surgery.
You mean a few years ago from today?
Yes.
Wow.
So my last surgeries were 2022, 2023.
Wow.
I had knee surgeries back to back. So, and I'm in great shape. I'm hooping, I'm running. I'm in great shape too. Oh yeah, that's my favorite thing to do. So I'm doing all the things to stay active, to stay young. You know, I'm out here competing with my athletes. And I'm just like, oh wow. So get a partial knee reconstruction. That kind of just like sits me down, as far as my whole business plan was based off of me being active and upwardly mobile, like literally. Can you imagine waking up one day and you can no longer do the thing that you do every day?
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Most people can't imagine it, but that's literally what happened to me. You know, I used to be really good at jump roping. Like, these are all the things that I'm doing for, you know, my product lines, is how I market. It's all the content was of me working out, jump roping, doing all the things. So now I can't even move. You know, and this is from November of 2022 through July of 2023.
Okay.
I'm down, you know, like, so I'm on crutches for 5 months. So that is when I started taking
that's painful.
Coaching more seriously, because I'm like, you know what? I can coach from the chair.
Yep.
You know, I can coach from sitting down. You know, like, I don't technically have to be upwardly mobile and in shape to get these kids where they need to be, you know? And so that is when I really started taking coaching seriously. 2023, when I felt like I have nothing else that I desire to do. You know, I physically can't do the things that I normally do. And that same team that one year was like 21 in the country, the team I was working with, once I locked in with them, they were number 3 in the country.
Okay.
It was a huge difference. So Ted's dad, Then he hired me to come work with his boys at the high school. You know, Ted's dad has an all boys private school called Gann Academy. So he brought me on to his staff, and he was like, I want all the kids to come through you, all the speed work, all the conditioning. Like, we're going to go through you. You know, helped with all those kids, still had my own program, ended up taking over Ted's track program officially. And then I created my own called Get Up to Par Track Club, because Ted was really very heavy in football.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a football guy.
Yeah.
He didn't really have time for it. And then last year I moved to Houston. So I'm brand new here. I really wanted to get in good weather. The disadvantage in Ohio is that it gets really cold. So you're trying to like get inside and still trying to train, and it's very hard to do. My daughter, who was already like a 3-time All-American at 13, I'm like, you know what? I need to take you where the smoke is. You know, like everybody who's anybody is mostly in Texas. I need to get you down, you know, so you can be developing right along with them. Football in Texas is better, you know, like for my son. And I'm like, I can then train all year round. I'm in striking distance of San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, you know, everything is right here. And this is where I want to build at. So I haven't even been here a year yet, but I love it so far. And it's like, I don't want to be the coach that's like only in Houston. Like, I want to be the coach that people feel like I can get to her from anywhere. You know, like she's available to me because this is how her program is set up. Because I want to be able to reach as many athletes as I can. And not just from a performance standpoint, Obi. Like, my biggest thing is mental training.
Right.
You know, like, without your coach telling you what to do, like, who are you?
Well,
you know, I always... Go ahead.
No, well, that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to, because, and now hearing your story about those surgeries, we really got a lot to talk about. I want to open.
Oh yeah, it's deep. It's real deep. Well, I went through a rough depression twice. The first set with college, and then a few years ago, you know, it was a big struggle.
Yeah,
to be quite
let's. So about your, obviously the physical side. I want to talk about the mental side, and I want to bring it back. Let's bring it all the way back, and then we'll catch up. Let's talk about young Sabrina, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, All-American. How did you, was there a lot of pressure for you? Was that difficult for you being at the top? What was that like? Were people, you felt like people were hunting you? Was it a lot of demand for your time? Like, what was that like? A lot of demand on you to execute?
You mean when I was young in like high school and
Yeah,
stuff?
did you feel a lot of pressure coming out of that? Did you feel like you had to perform well, and what was that like for you? Or was it just free and you were running because you loved it?
Oh no, nothing was free about it. I come from a very volatile and tough upbringing. So my freshman year of high school, I found myself by myself. My mother is in rehab. My father just went back to prison. I'm by myself.
Wow.
Freshman year, high school. And I was living with my dad, 8th grade, 9th grade. So I was living with him when he went back to prison.
Wow.
So that was a lot, because I just felt like, Dad, you left me. You know, like, you knew my mom was going through her struggles. That's why you stepped in, and now you're gone. I'm a little girl I'm just getting to high school. I'm trying to navigate so many different things in life.
Very
you
talented
know?
too. Very talented with all that going on.
Yeah, but it's like, I didn't have time to be sad.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like, I wanted to be sad and like just be sad about my life and my parents. And so when my dad left, I'm now really just kind of moving around everywhere, like just with my grandfather, with my stepmom. I'm just like wherever is convenient for that time. And that was rough. So my mom ended up getting out of rehab my sophomore year of high school. So, and then I moved in with her mother, my grandmother, where she came back to. So now I'm thinking like, okay, well, my mom is back. She's clean. You know, we're good. We can rebuild our life. She relapsed the same day she came home.
Oh my gosh.
So at that point, I'm like, I have to get out of here. Like, in my mind, I'm just like, I have to figure out how to get away from this. I put the pressure on myself, Obi, because I'm like, if I'm going to do something to somebody or myself if this keeps being my only reality. Now, at the time, yes, I'm good naturally. Like, naturally, I'm just good. I'm faster than mostly everybody. I do work very hard. But I wanted to get far away from there. And I'll never forget this story. My sophomore year, I go to my head coach and I say to him, what's the furthest state from Ohio? And he was just like annoyed by the question because, he just
Right.
like, oh, he's trying to get ready for practice.
Yeah.
And here I am like, what's the furthest state from here? It just
Yeah.
sounds like, what are you
What are
talking
you
about?
talking about right now?
So he pulls out a map and I was like, no, really, I really don't know. And I want to see. So he pulls out a map and he points to Cali. I said, I want to go run there. He was like, why? Why would you want to go to Cali? I was already locked in for a full ride scholarship at the University of Michigan, right? Like it was already done. And he was like, go to Michigan, you could blink and get the scholarship, it's yours. Because he had a good relationship with the head track coach. Like literally it was locked in already. And I was like, that's too close to here. I don't want to be here. I don't want anybody to come see me. Like I used all that anger to figure out something else. And he was like, well, I'm gonna be honest, you're not running fast enough to get recruited from any school in Cali right now. And I was like, okay, well, what do I need to run? He told me the time I needed to run. He was like, so at the time, my best race was like the 300 hurdles. Okay, I was a hurdler.
Okay.
He was like, you're only running like 45. You got to at least run 43, low 43. And he was like, and you got to have an accumulative 3.7 GPA or 3.4. He's like, you only have like a 3.0. Like, you got to be able to pass the clearing house. Like, he's telling me all these things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm mentally writing this down. Like, okay, so these are the goals, So I'm 3 seconds behind the goal. 2 points away from the GPA. Like, these are all the things. So that summer, my sophomore summer, I just trained. And I trained with NFL players. And I trained with all the top high school guys. Ted Ginn, Dante Whitner, Tony Fisher, Maurice Claret. Like, these are my training partners. I couldn't afford it. I just worked something out with the trainer. I said, listen,
Why did you
I
choose
can't
them?
afford to be here, but let me do some office work. I'm really intelligent. I can make sure that I get all the office work done. I can clean the weight room. Like I need to get faster. I need to get stronger. I need to be able to be unbeatable. And they were like, all right, but I worked so hard. It was like they loved me being there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so
because you was just working.
I'm just working, but I'm working with this in my mind of I gotta get fast because I gotta get out of here.
How important were those other pieces around you as you were training? Like having those high level athletes around you. How important was that while you were training?
For me personally, because I'm such a competitor, my goal was to beat them on like a rep here or there.
Yep.
Like we would do the sand pit maybe twice a week where, you do a lot of change of direction and down and backs in the sand. And I'm like, ooh, if I could just get them one time,
for sure.
like, so that was always my thing. Or if I can make them a little nervous, or if they know they got to run their best when I'm on the line with them, like, it's working both ways. I'm pushing them, they're pushing me.
Let me ask you, do you feel that same hunger out of your young athletes today? And I'm asking just.
No. They don't have it. They also are lacking the reason why they're even doing it. You see, before all this stuff happened with my parents, I just enjoy it, right? I'm just running fast. I'm going through the motions. I'm working hard, like in practice, right? Yeah, I'm competing with my teammates, but that's it. Once this happened with my parents, I was like, oh no. It gave me another reason as to why.
Yeah.
So most of the children, they have both their parents, they're spoiled, they're privileged, they get everything. If there is a struggle in the family, the kids don't even know about the struggle.
Mm-hmm.
They have no real discipline.
Mm-hmm.
They have no real assignments in life besides homework. It's like everything is so easy to them.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is optional. Even with my children, I'm like, let's really figure out what we're doing this for.
Well, I think that's what I'm starting to realize is the kids nowadays, they have too many options. It's not that they just hate doing. It's just they're like, well, why? I'm just gonna go hang out with my friends. Like, why go to the gym? For us, it was like I've got nothing else to do. I'm gonna sit at. I used to sit at home. I used to come home from practice from school and walk around with the home telephone. Walk around the house. I lived in apartments. I just walk around on the phone. I had nothing else to do. And it's like now it's either that or go play basketball. I go play basketball in the street in apartments. You know what I'm saying? We had a hoop
Yeah.
there. I literally I played on a crate nailed
Yep.
to a post. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
played on that and we had a lot of fun. But now kids,
Yeah.
it's like they won't even go outside. Go outside for what?
Yeah.
Stay inside, play the
Well,
video game.
no one's making them. No one's
Yeah,
making them. And
yeah,
so
and
I do
and
think it has a lot to do with the parenting.
it is, and then you'll see them. I mean, I deal with a lot. Guys don't really want to, and gals, they don't want to compete. Like what you're saying, this guy's better.
Yeah.
I know they're better, but I want to compete. I want to try to win.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they see somebody better, and they're like, oh, he's better.
Right. And so I work on that during training. Right. So like I can see effort, right? You can just see when someone's doing their best. So at that point, I give my athletes the choice. You either turn it up or leave.
Facts.
There's no conversation about it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know what you decide.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell the parents that they're going home, have a conversation with your child as if whether or not they should come back.
Mm-hmm.
Because effort is all I care about.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times there's someone that's fast or faster than you, and so they've already decided in their brain, I can't beat them.
Right.
So I have different techniques and cues that I use for my athletes to take that out of their mindset. Even with my daughter, her transitioning from Ohio to Houston was big. It's eye-opening. Like, dang, I'm out here. All these girls is fast. They bigger. They're this. And I'm constantly like, so what?
So what?
They're not faster than you. I promise you, if you go out there and do your absolute best, you're going to see how much faster they're really not.
Mm-hmm.
You've just decided because they've been running since they were 5 and they're already here and they're, they got the look and they got the bag and they got the name and they got this and that. You've already decided because you don't have all of that. They're better than you. And I'm telling you, I train you. I know what you can do. If you just go do it, see what happens. Go do it. And every time we have this conversation, she comes back smiling like, wow. And I'm like, exactly. People are really not that much better than you.
Mm-hmm.
You just convince yourself that they are based on what you saw them do,
Mm-hmm.
And so we work on this a lot in practice when there's just low effort or there's just insecurities or just a lack of confidence. Oh, I beat it into them. Yeah. And then some of them, they just don't have it and they have to find another program. I'm just being honest.
And
because
I tell my athletes, like, even if that person is better than you, they also have to show up and compete. They've got to bring their best or they'll lose. They're better than you. Maybe they're better than you at their 10 out of 10, but how many times are people at their, you know what I'm saying? They're not going to be, there probably won't be their 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that's true.
Most times than not. And I'll give you an example. So, we play Team USA. We beat Team USA. Well, when we show up, I'm Nigeria. I play for Team Nigeria. Going into the Olympics, we were playing Team USA in an exhibition. We beat Team USA, and everybody's so excited. And I'm like, yeah, that was a good win. But I tell people, on paper, yes, if you match us up on paper, yes, they're better. But they got to show up and play. They got to play this entire game. And if they don't show up, then we'll beat them. You know what I mean? And that's what I tell guys all the time. It's like, even if he's better than you, you can almost count on the fact that he's not going to show up at his tip top. At their 100%. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So, like, show up and do your job, and then I guarantee you they're going to drop the ball somewhere. Just do your job.
Yeah. That's why I love basketball. That's why I still like playing, because even though I play with guys, pretty much all the guys are better than me, but you're not going to be more conditioned. You're not going to defend like I am. I'm going to catch you slipping somewhere, right? Somewhere I'm going to get you. Because, you're gassed. When I see you're gassed, I'm like, this is my moment.
There's always an advantage.
Force you to run around up and down the court because I know you tired and I'm not.
There's always an advantage.
Always an advantage. So I teach that.
Yeah.
I teach how to look at that in your opponents, how to pull that out of yourself. I put my athletes in a lot of exhausting situations in training too. You shouldn't wait until competition day to be tired.
Right.
You're not going to ever know how to deal with it.
Right.
So if you're not used to full fatigue before the day, you're going to collapse.
Yeah.
Your body's going to go into shock. So we work through fatigue. When they're really tired, I make them stand up. I make them keep moving. I don't let them bend down. I don't let them lay out. I don't let them get water. It's like, no, you're training your mind that this is not as bad as I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that just comes from my grind. Like I had to, and my coach was right. Like to get looks from from Cali and Ohio was not easy. It was like they don't have to recruit that far. They just don't.
Yeah.
Cali has some of the top athletes.
Yeah.
Texas is, Vegas is there. There's so many states before you get to Ohio that they can choose from. But I'm just like, I'm going. I'm going. And I don't know how. All I know is I'm going to do the work. And when the work is done, I'm going to look up and, see where I'm at. But it worked. It really did. My junior year, I just was a different animal. Like that is kind of where I got the dog phrase, because that's what I just everything I did, I was just out there like a dog, like a beast. In every rep, every day of practice. And then I didn't let my teammates be soft or weak either, so it just like trickled down. Like if you messed up in practice, I'm on you. Like, no, that's not what we doing. Because if y'all on my relay, y'all better be right. Like
straight up, yeah.
Seriously, like we're not doing this. We're a team. We ended up winning 2 state championships that year after that. Like, but it really became like, oh, this is what you got to do. Like, you really got to grind. You got to make the sacrifice, and it was just the greatest thing. So what I want to say is, if I wouldn't have known the GPA I needed and the times that I needed, I would have just been training with no purpose. Like it gave me something to work towards. Because, people are like, I want to be the best. But what is the best? What does that look like? What number is that? What rate? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like you have to figure that out. What is that goal? What is that number? So once I figured that out, when I'm tired, that number is in my head. Yeah, somebody that run this fast is probably working harder than me right now.
Yeah.
So let me keep going.
Yeah.
And then again, emotionally, I'm sad about my parents. I'm a little girl trying to navigate. I don't have them in the stands cheering for me. I'm using that.
I'm
huge. Using it.
That was
they're still struggling with their issues, so I'm doing this alone. I don't have parents rooting me on. This is why I'm the one on the internet that's always arguing about how important parents really are, or the role that they play in their kids' success. I argue that point, because my thing is, if you're putting it all on the parent, so the kids without parents will never be successful? Is that what you're saying? Like the parents got to motivate you, and the parents have to, model all these great habits, and, your parents can't let you be lazy. Forget all of that. Yeah, it helps if you do have parents that are motivating, but if your mother doesn't wake you up for practice, are you going? Yes or no? Are you going to get there?
Facts.
If not, you don't want to be good.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Yeah.
Kids will be like, well, my mom overslept. Walk, jog, call the coach, call me and say, I need a ride.
Yeah.
My mom ain't waking up. Like,
figure it out.
So I'm just like, that doesn't mean nothing to me. It's not the parents' responsibility to make sure the kid is successful. The kids can use the parents to become successful for themselves. So, and I'm watching my kids do this. And I'm just like, yes, they're getting it. But it's because it's not about me. If you want to be great, tell me where to drop you off at. I'm not waking you up though. I'm not doing it for you.
So I'm not a parent yet. And so I always try to like speak with caution. But you are. So I'm gonna let you say it. What do we need to talk to what is the message that you need to get out to the parents? Is there anything specific that you'd like to get out to parents? I got a lot of parents. I mean, a lot of what I do is educating parents as well.
Okay. Yeah.
I come from an affluent area in Oklahoma, and parents that are giving their kids everything. They're trying to give their kids better lives than they had, or you know what I mean. And I understand that, but on the same side of that coin, you've got to let those kids grow up. Those kids have to make mistakes. They've got to learn discipline by themselves. They've got to learn responsibility by themselves. They have to learn these things by themselves. And parents, they wanted, I forgot what I saw the other day, but it's something saying like parents they want to do such a good job by helping the kid, but you're filling your own cup and robbing them. Like you got to help them. You got to give them the tools to help themselves. not give them all the answers.
Yeah. I feel my message to parents is always like, get out of the way. Like, let the child become more self-reliant.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying stop parenting your kid. There are basic things I do feel like you should contribute. If you haven't, make sure your kids are eating a balanced, diet, getting proper rest, like just basic discipline things, like that just helps them with their overall health. But, just trying to do too much for them,
Yeah.
I think it just hurts them. And especially when they get in situations where they have a tough coach. Like I used to tell my daughter, like, if you can't deal with me yelling, don't play basketball. I said, the basketball coaches are terrible. They cuss and they throw things. They'll throw you if you're standing next to them. Like they're going to get ejected. Like they're
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
If you can't handle me, you're not going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn how to be quiet and take it, hear what they're saying and make the correction.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's loud. Everything is loud and everybody's screaming, so if you're always allowing your kid to be affected or impacted by everything, you're doing them a disservice.
What,
And so
yeah. So also another thing that I see a lot is our parents who are overbearing with their expectations of their kids. And I say that
yeah,
because nowadays with social media, we're seeing everybody, the sixth graders, fourth graders, the eighth graders, the phenoms, they you know what I mean? The young kids, they're so good. And it's like when I was a kid, you didn't see those kids. You just worked on your own game. And now because we can see
right,
everybody, we compare everybody to our own kid. And it's like, no, your kid is progressing at his own pace. Let the kid progress. Help the kid,
yeah.
coach the kid, teach the kid, be a parent to the kid. But don't set all these expectations that you don't even know if the kid can meet. And then you're mad when the kid's not meeting your expectations. And it's like, what do your expectations have to do with his development?
Yeah, they're actually hindering their development. I also tell parents, because a lot of parents say, oh, how early should my kids start? And I'm just like, is like, keep them off the sport as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And they think I'm crazy when I say that. I'm like, what are they rushing to do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've never seen a 6-year-old gain anything by being a 6-year-old superstar athlete. They can't get paid.
Yeah.
Like seriously, they can't lock in their scholarship at 6. Like, we don't know what. It's more so for the fulfillment of the parent. I guarantee you it
For
is.
sure.
Bragging rights and things of that nature. My kids didn't even start that young. And as soon as I saw my daughter was struggling, I pulled her. I pulled her from the sport. Nope, we're done. You're not ready to compete.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just work on controlling your own body. And I think it does depend on the kid. But parents that's why my only message is like, please get out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if the kid is passionate about it, great, sign them up, let them do their thing.
Right.
I now have a thing where if they don't do well, reward them like they did. For example, like, take them to go get ice cream anyway,
Mm-hmm.
because you're also developing their brain and what they say about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So if they only get something when they're doing well, when they don't do well, they now feel like I'm not worth anything.
Okay.
So love them, period. Love them, period.
Mm-hmm.
Once they become of age and, things are more on the line in high school, you don't have to reward them as much. Have the conversation about what mistakes they made, how they can correct them, what the corrections need to be, and let it go. Especially because you're not their coach, you're their parent. Even with me, I am a parent that is a coach. I take my own advice.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter, her first basketball game a few weeks ago, she scored 20 points in 3 quarters. She looked phenomenal, right? But she's missing all these layups. I'm just like, I'm losing my mind. Like, are you closing your eyes and throwing the ball up there? I'm like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't mention it though. I literally, after the game, said to her, what are some things you think you did well?
Yeah.
She named a couple things. I think I played defense well. I said, yep, you did that. What are some things you think you didn't do so well? Thankfully, she mentioned her layups. I said, okay, so we're gonna work on some of the things that you didn't do well,
Mm-hmm.
and that was it, right? In my head, I was losing my mind, like, oh my God, she could have had 90 points, or but
Yeah.
how would it have helped her if I'm just like, what the heck, and all the, it's so much pressure because she's not gonna be perfect. She still has to grow. She has to develop. People also forget that, or people just don't know this, but Jordan was cut in high school. The Jordan we know did not make the team, y'all. Can you imagine if our kids these days did not make the team? They
Mm-hmm.
probably would quit the sport.
Yeah.
You know how hard you got to work over the summer and in the off season to come back and not only make the team, but lead every team for the rest of your life?
Right.
You know how mad you got to get at losing? So mistakes are going to happen. Every season not going to be your best. You're not going to have the bag you want to have at the age you may want to have it. That's why you got to just let them do their thing. Let them figure it out. Encourage them to work, but don't push them to the point where they can't enjoy it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I want the kids to enjoy what they're doing, and I just feel like parents take that away from them because it is so much pressure.
Yeah. No. And I think that for me, it's about praising the right things. I want to praise
Yeah,
effort.
I
I
agree.
want to praise you
Yep,
giving effort. Praise you being a good teammate. Praise you being doing the things that don't require skill. That don't
I
require
agree
you
with
to
that.
make a basket, and it doesn't show up on the stat sheet, like because
Yeah,
and I
your
think
body language.
right and
Body language is big for me.
right, and that's why we have all these kids now that are focused on statistics and can't that aren't good teammates and aren't responsible and aren't because they haven't been rewarded for doing those things right. Only scoring
Yeah,
points and the numbers and getting
especially in basketball.
especially in basketball. I talk about that
They're
all the
all wanting to
time.
shoot the shot. Can't nobody pass with their left hand.
Uh,
Can't, it's like,
man.
what are you guys working on? Like, do you really think as you continue to grow, you're going to always have an open shot? Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to be able to do something else. You have to be able to move without the ball. So you're absolutely right. But it's just the pressure from the internet, all these. There are 30,000 highlight pages.
Right.
I'm like, I can't even keep up with all the highlight pages. Every page is there's 60 cameras at the 6-year-old games. I'm like, why are you here recording this? There's six.
Yeah.
It's like the top 6-year-old. It's like, is that really a thing? And don't get me wrong, if you're good, you're good. But it's like the bigger picture to get a full scholarship, yes or no? Then let's just focus on that.
Yeah.
Like, does this help you get to that? Because I think that's everyone's main goal who's out there. Want to go to school, want to go D1 or whatever. Most everybody wants to go D1. Okay, so how do you achieve that goal, right? What does Division 1 player actually do? I tell this to my basketball guys all the time. You want to go Division 1. Have you studied what a Division 1 player actually does in the off season and in the season? Do you even know what it looks like?
Right.
I'm like, it's not just going to practice. Everybody goes to practice. The player who don't even make the team goes to practice. The D1 guy is doing way more than practice. I'm telling you. He's in his backyard at night when there's no lights. He's outside working on his left. In the weekends when all his boys are going out, he's somewhere at the park running heels. He's getting his endurance up. Like, this is what the Division 1 athlete does. Everybody's good. Everybody can shoot. Everybody can dribble. Everybody don't go though.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you become the one that goes? And I make them figure it out. Go on YouTube. Go and look and see what their routine is. Find their story. They might have a documentary somewhere. Figure it out. Study what they do. Study how Steph Curry got his shot like that.
It's funny what you said though because and it's not basketball specific. It's like the people who separate themselves are the ones that are doing that. It could be basketball, it could be track, it could be
Yes.
football, it could be tennis,
Yeah.
volleyball, swimming, whatever it is. If you're just going to practice and you're going with your buddies and you're doing everything that they're doing, you're gonna end up where they are.
Exactly. I separated myself only that summer. That summer when I went and got that trainer. Oh, and so when school started back, I started going to school with the football players at 6 in the morning to get in the weight room. because they was the
Mm-hmm.
only ones in the weight room. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go in there with them. Then I would practice with my team, after school from 3:30 to 5:30 or whatever. Then I would go back to the trainer from 6 to 8 to work on speed and work on whatever we didn't do. I did that almost 4 to 5 days a week in the off season. There's no way you're gonna be better than me. I'm putting too much time in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting way too much time on getting better. Wasn't I changed my diet as much as possible because I found out like this aids a lot in just recovery, preventing injury, just getting certain nutrients and nourishment in my body. Boys, I didn't care about boys. I didn't at the end of the day, you guys are a distraction. Like I just started like, and then if you wanted to see me, you got to come watch me run.
Mm-hmm.
Cause that's where I'm gonna be at. I'm going to the trainer. You gotta just come to where I'm at. So that wasn't a big deal. I sacrificed some of the big dances at the school, like all the things that I felt like was during the same time of a training day or a big meet. I'm not
You
going.
can't have it
Cause
all.
yeah, because the bigger picture is I want to go to school out there, y'all. So
I,
I was able to sign early. I signed early, so my senior year was a breeze. I'm already signed. I don't have to do nothing. I don't have to step foot on this track. I'm done. I did it. I did it in 1 year. My junior year, I grinded. I signed early. I'm done.
yeah.
That's all it took. One solid summer, one solid season.
And
Got
and
I got
and
I
that's
got
real.
offers from everywhere.
And that's real, and it's crazy because I feel a lot of like similarities because that's how I felt, man. You can ask any of my people growing up, high school, college. I didn't do nothing. OB didn't do nothing. I still don't do nothing. But really didn't do nothing back then. I ain't go out. I ain't drink. Didn't smoke. Didn't do nothing. I was in the house or at the gym. That's it. That's all I was
Yep,
doing.
period. And that's what it takes. You got to really just create your lifestyle
Yeah.
until you get to where you're going. And then you get on that level with another level of sacrifice and you got to make if you want to stay there.
Yep.
But they just got to figure out, do you really want this or do you just like the idea of it?
So the game stops for everybody at some point.
Yeah, unfortunately. Do you know that? Cause
Stop. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that to me?
I don't know if you believe
Come
that the
on.
game
Why are you
stops.
doing that to me right now?
I'm just because I'm a realist. I'm going to challenge you. Do
Nah,
you know that the game stops?
I do, and that's why I'm here with you. Look,
Okay.
that's
All
what we're
right.
doing right now.
Well, you're like 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
I know
You
because
not
you know what I'm
really.
saying. You're right. I am, man, because and you know what though, part of it for me, and this is kind of what I told myself is like, I'm gonna be healthy because I need to be healthy. If I
Correct.
can go play basketball after I'm healthy, then I'll go play. But it's not about going to play basketball. It's about getting my body healthy. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how I've kind of mediated that with myself. Is like I would love to go play, but regardless whether I go play or whether I don't go play, my body needs to be healthy. So let's do that first. And so that's and that's kind of where I've been at the whole time. But for you, moving from track and moving into life, what has that been like? What building the brand? I know we kind of touched on that, but how has that been for you? How has that journey been? Like laying that down and then moving into your next steps in life. And I say that because obviously myself, but also a lot of athletes, a lot of professional athletes, guys that I know, my friends that are transitioning into that life. What could you share about that, about transitioning?
So I do understand transitioning is not easy. I know I may make it look fun and, I have my moments. I'm 38 now. So I'm like, listen, I think Justin Gatlin on the track level may be the only 40-year-old
Facts.
that was really out
Facts.
there getting busy,
Facts.
but
That's crazy, by the way.
it is. But again, he got banned for like 7 or 8 years. That
Mm-hmm.
was his reason why he had something like having a reason to prove something. It should turn you into a beast.
Mm-hmm.
But there are certain ages where you just age out. You just age out of your sport and you can go on to, I could go run masters and do all these other things. But honestly, Obi, it would take away from the other purpose God has for me. And in this season, the young athletes are the purpose. They just are.
Mm-hmm.
Like they need what I have, and I can't give it to them when I'm always trying to give myself something. Like I don't think you can do both at the same time.
Yeah.
With my kids, especially, my kids need the type of mother that I am. And if I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go give this a shot again. I take away from that because now I'm being a little
For
selfish.
sure.
So, but remember I said earlier, I had to ask myself, like, is this the only thing that I'm good at? Like, if I'm not physically playing, or running or whatever, am I failing? And these were very hard, lonely conversations that I would have with me and God, many nights of just like, what else can I do again? Like, what else am I talented at? And here's the other side, as a Black woman that I know I'm pretty attractive, I could just go lay up and be a housewife. That's the easiest thing to do outside with
Mm-hmm.
men.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they want.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, does that fulfill the need, the desire, my purpose? So the answer is no. So having to really process all the options and get a clear vision of what else is there for me that I'm good at that gives back. And that was coaching. It just was. It was in coaching the way that I coach, not just going in some random school and just saying, oh, I'm coaching a Division 3, like coaching the way that I do it so that everyone can benefit. Everyone can get a piece of it. They can hear my voice. I'm not tied down to just one organization or one team, or I have to water down my style because I'm at a school. That's another reason why I'm not within the school anymore. I need to be able to be myself. And some schools, especially private schools, they're like, you may be a little too much for,
Yeah. Yeah.
John's mother.
Yeah.
And it's like, John's mother can kiss my ass,
Yeah.
because John sucks and John is weak. And John needs someone to tell him that he sucks and he's weak. So we can work on why he sucks and how to get him stronger. Like, it's just what it is.
That's
So
funny.
I can say that under my brand.
Yeah.
And whether the parent hears it or not, it's the truth.
Yeah.
And that, that's how I talk on my page.
Yeah.
I'm like, you look terrible, but so the transition, I feel like, really involves God, conversations with yourself,
Honesty,
sobriety, so you can feel all the emotions. And I mean sobriety not just from an alcohol standpoint. I'm talking about weed, sex, anything that comes with addiction. You gotta get rid of it. You gotta feel. You can't numb yourself at all. You gotta really feel. What am I feeling? Okay, now that I'm feeling this, how do I get through these feelings? How do I, heal? Because I'm watching in the world right now, people struggling with transitioning.
Yeah.
I mean, men are committing suicide in their 30s who used to play in the league. You know firsthand when you're an athlete, women it's like it's part of your uniform. You get your uniform, you get women. It's like it's what it is.
Yeah.
It's what you're used to. So when you're not getting that anymore, because you're not in those rooms, you're not in those spaces, well, now that you're not getting your ego stroked, what's happening to your ego? What do you do with it? Now you got to kill it. How? I've never had to. So a lot of men are going to places where they can still get their ego stroked, even if it's the lowest of the lows.
Yes.
I need it. So this is why that quiet time, that alone time, these self-talks, that sobriety helps, because, and I had a lot of fans. I had a lot of groupies. Like people, men, only thing is them. No, women got it too.
Yeah,
we
sure.
just don't flaunt it as much,
Some of y'all don't.
Well, I can speak for me.
I can only speak for myself.
I can only speak for myself, but yes, I had a lot of fan men, for whatever reason. It's like, okay, so if I'm not in that same space, how do I deal with the absence of that? And it's a lot of personal development work. And
that's why we talk, and I love it. Like, that's why I talk about the mental side. And when I say that, I'm really careful when I say that, because people hear the word mental and they think it sounds crazy and they think it's all. I'm like, it's not what it's about. It's about being able to sit with yourself and figure out what the hell's going on inside of here. Like, what's going on? What do I need to do? Am I in touch with what's going on? And for you specifically, you talk about men and dealing with men and groupies and this and that. You talked about being You know, you could lay up and be an ex-wife, but I know you were in a relationship with the league, with somebody in the league, right? How
Yes.
difficult was that for you? Did you see a lot of these things come up? What was that like?
Well, the relationship with him was not difficult at all. Like the way I'm
Can I
talking to
say
you,
something?
Obi.
Can I say something real quick?
Oh yeah.
I had no clue. I'm doing my
Thank you.
I'm doing my
Oh yeah, I have
research.
it set up that
I'm
way.
doing my research. I'm like, all
You
right,
probably was
let
like,
me figure out.
whoa.
Yeah, I'm like, let me figure out who I'm about to sit down with. Let's figure out how we
Yeah.
going. I said, wait, hold on now.
That's how you know how the space I'm in is a good space because I don't need to use it. I
Yeah,
don't need to talk about
for
and
sure.
and people tell me all the time like if you really wanted to pop your shit you could and I'm like yeah but it doesn't really help what I'm
Yeah,
doing. If
yeah,
anything people might envy it.
yeah.
But
Can you bring everybody in on what we're talking about?
oh, so I was engaged to Lamar Odom a few years ago. And me and Lamar are still friends. Well, sometimes he's still mad at me. He he goes through his emotions and when he want to talk, when he doesn't want to talk. But that's a man.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a very public relationship, very public. But what I was gonna say was the way I'm talking to you is who I was with him. Like I didn't sugarcoat anything. I didn't get caught up in the magnitude of who he was.
Yeah.
It's like if you gonna be here, this is the program.
Uh-huh.
Nobody's bigger than the program.
Straight up.
One thing about me, I'm not afraid to lose people. So if I lose you while helping you find yourself, I didn't really lose anything.
Right.
So the relationship in itself with him, like the dynamic with him, wasn't hard because I remained who I was. Now, Lamar is just a hard individual in general because he's just like a lost soul, and he has been this man had $100 million at 19. That's just the reality of his life. And he was in LA, then he went to Miami at 20, so like he has seen some things. So this being able to navigate with someone of that magnitude comes with its own challenges. But the rules were very clear. This is what I deal with, and this is what I don't deal with.
Mm-hmm.
The choices are yours.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm serious about this. So you can try me if you want to. And he didn't do a lot of trying. He really didn't. And I asked him, like months in when I really see like, all right, he here, he ain't going nowhere. He's locked in. I asked him like, out of all the women, because, he does have a history of infidelity and just being a womanizer and just all the things. I didn't experience that with him, Obi. And I asked him, I said, why did you choose to be this way with me? And for the women who may listen to this is your part where you should tune in. What he said to me was, he said, well, you're the only girl that's ever told me no. And I was like, that's interesting. And I wasn't telling him no to things trying to be mean. It just was a no for me.
Yeah.
Like, it just was a no. So whatever happens after the no, I got to live with it.
Yeah.
But early on, he wanted to have sex. No. I don't trust you yet.
Yeah.
Like he wanted me to date him from LA. No, I'm not gonna stress myself out. You all the way out there, I ain't gonna have no peace. It's a no.
Yeah.
So he moved, like, oh no, you gonna keep that same phone number? No, it's no for me. To me, accept, change the number. Like these are the things. It's like once I feel like, okay, I have some peace and I can trust you, all right, cool, let's rock out. But there were a lot of no's. It was a lot of boundaries. And it was just protect me. And it wasn't being strict, Obi. It was just me saying, I know myself and I want to bring out my best self. I cannot bring out my best self if I'm tripping on what you doing all the time. And so for this to work, changes have to be made on both ends. But, ultimately it didn't work out. Lamar still had a lot of personal developing to do, like we all do. He also was a guy that just had a hard time transitioning into society after basketball.
Right.
He did one thing only for so long. And people forget, like, guys like y'all played from like age 7.
Facts.
And then it's like you're 40, you're still trying to play, and I'm like, y'all don't know how to do much. Like
Yeah.
naturally, everything else is hard because this is all you've ever done. So him just trying to get comfortable with just being a businessman and being a husband
It's
and being a
hard, man. It's
father,
hard.
it's very
It
hard. And
is.
he couldn't be both. I don't ever want to say anything disrespectful to
Sure,
him. I
sure.
respect Lamar. I love Lamar, but he couldn't be my husband and himself.
Yeah.
He had to pick a side.
It's hard.
It is hard, and a lot of men struggle with it. The difference is most women just stay and thug it out for the perks and the glitz and the glam.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm like, I can create my own perks and glitz and glam.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is, one reason why I was able to leave the relationship is because I know how to be very honest with myself. And one of the questions I asked myself were, is this the best you can do, Sabrina? And the answer was, nope.
There you have
I
it.
believe I can do better.
There you have it.
And so I can't ever get better if I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because, we like to marry and date the potential of the person, not the reality of them. So for me, it was like, if he doesn't change anything, if this is the Lamar I'm going to get and nothing ever gets better, nothing ever changes, will I be happy? And is this the best I can do? And it was like, no. So you got to leave, and that transition hasn't been easy for me, Obi, because he treated me very well. He set the standard very high for me. He adored me. He supported everything I did. It wasn't all about him. He was a fan of mine. Like he did treat me very well.
That's good.
And it's different
That's
outside.
good to hear, man. Because there's a lot of stuff going out. You know what I mean? You know how that is.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna be the
For
one.
sure.
Obviously, there were negative
For
things,
sure.
but that doesn't benefit me to talk about that. But in general, the reason why him and I are still able to talk and FaceTime and visit from time to time is because he was good to me.
Mm-hmm.
He really was, and obviously, I was good to him, or he wouldn't still even connect.
Yeah.
But everything doesn't always work out for that season.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned a lot, but again, I think the worst part is because I got used to being treated a certain way. Now it's like guys come at me and I'm like, no, that's not gonna work for me. Like you gotta, it's like it's tough,
And we're talking about seasons while we're wrapping this up. And not that kind of season, but moving into 2026. What season of your life are you in? You say you're 38. You're working on your brand, building that up. What season are you in right now?
Yeah, honestly, Obi, I'm in my mom's season. Like I am getting them where I believe they need to go.
Yeah.
Right, and like especially with my daughter. So I was married to my son's father. He does a phenomenal job with my son. It's almost like I don't have to do nothing. Honestly, like he lives with him, and they do their thing. He's a football player. My ex was a football player. So like they're vibing, right? Like my son, he a mama's boy. He comes with me all the holidays and all of that. But 90% of the time he's with his dad, right? So my daughter is with me. Full time, it's me and her. The girl needs me to blink. She needs me for everything.
Yeah.
So instead of fighting that and just resenting it, I'm embracing it. I'm almost grateful for it. That what I needed and didn't get as a child, I'm able to provide for her. That presence, that love, that affection. I did need that. I really did. I needed to see my mom in the stands cheering for me and to support me and to get on the phone and call all her friends about me being on the front page of the newspaper. Like, I needed that. Don't resent her because I didn't get it. Not bitter, but now I'm just understanding how important it is for my daughter, And the years go so fast. In 5 years, she's gone. She's off. So right now, everything I do, every decision I make revolves around, does it work for them or not? Schedule wise, contract wise. Now they do know the moment they gone in college, I was like, I'm not living in the house, y'all. I'm getting me a souped up RV and I'm outside.
Yeah.
I'm just going.
Yeah.
You know, like that's my time to get back to what Sabrina wants to do. You know, I can date. I can't even date freely if I'm being
Yeah. For
transparent.
sure.
Because my baby is at home. You're not coming here. I'm not leaving her. I'm, you know,
Yeah.
like I can't be drunk. We can't do a whole lot of trips. Like, no, this is my time for her.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay with that. 5 years, we're done. You're not we're done, but once she's in college, it's a different parent she then needs from me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
that is the season I'm in. And so coaching the athletes along with coaching my daughter, it all goes hand in hand. Is one of the reasons why I'm passionate about it. I use her to test out everything. You know, I'm coming out with a product line for athletes right now. I'm very excited about it because I hate the Gatorades and the Powerades and all the A's that don't aid with
Hate
nothing.
that stuff.
So
Hate that
yeah,
stuff.
so we are in the final phases of production with
It's all
pre-workout,
syrup in your
post-workout.
mouth. Hate
Oh
that
my God, it's
stuff.
just terrible. And people are wondering why the athletes are passing out and having cardiovascular issues. The ingredients are terrible now. So that's in the works. Very excited about that. Also, just I'm having an app being created right now to help athletes with the recruitment process of getting to college,
Okay.
where it's more self-reliant. You know, like you can kind of do your own thing. You can get your highlight reels and everything to them on your own. You know, and I'm gonna help navigate them through that. So everything, and then the biggest thing, that I'm going to be working on for 2026 is more so on the mental side of things. Like really getting athletes to a point where they're mentally strong, they're more resilient. What does that look like? You know, if you do have an injury ending season, how do you get through that? What does that look like? Because people gonna forget about you. Oh, real quick.
Mm.
They not gonna call your phone. They not coming to hang out. They not bringing you no food. They're on to the next thing. It gets very lonely when you struggle with adversity. So how do you deal with that?
Being a
Or if your team sucks.
being an athlete is like that's one of the worst things is and even the younger athletes they don't realize how good they have and I tell them like high school college man y'all got it good you got people asking
Very.
about you asking did you eat making sure you slept
Right.
well hey go wake him up did you know like taking care of you hey I need this they're getting everything for you
Yeah,
man
that's
you
true.
become a professional hey you better show up on your own time you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you
Ain't
better,
no alarms, ain't
yes,
no wake up
hey
clocks.
fam, you better get here, or you're getting
Yeah, get
fined.
here on time or
I
you're
don't want to, I
fine.
don't want to hear
Yes.
that, and I don't want to hear that you're
That's
tired,
another
that you didn't
way.
eat, and I don't want to hear none of that. You know,
They
and
don't
like,
even care if you didn't eat. If you didn't eat, that's on you. That's your fault.
and
Why
so
didn't you eat?
I tell these kids now, man, like for one, be grateful for all of these systems that you have in place that are here to make sure
Yeah,
you succeed. School
correct.
systems, the teams, they're here to make sure you succeed. You get into the real
Yep.
world, they want you to fail. They want you to fail.
1000%.
And so now you got
Yeah,
to
one
go now
thousand
you got to go
percent.
against the grain and it's like now where's your mental at? Can you handle, you know, and I know that overseas like all the rookies for me for example, like that's one of the toughest years cuz you realize coming from college like, yo, these guys don't care about you. They don't want you here. They want to cuss you out. Like they're not looking out for you and you got to go do it all yourself. And now everything falls on
Yeah.
your shoulders. So, um,
And most guys do struggle. They are just struggling. They're not really handling it well.
yeah.
And that's the part I want to focus more on is tapping into how do they start handling a little better?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are some and let's just start having the conversations about how much we're struggling. You
Yeah,
know, like I think
hey,
that's just
let's.
healthy in itself.
That's why
Let's
I
talk about
start.
it. Let's just say
That's
I'm struggling.
that's why I started this podcast. Like the
Mm,
day one of starting this podcast, it was called Wonbyone Mental Health Podcast. I
okay.
started it while I
Makes
was in
sense.
Spain, in Madrid playing, and I was like, man, I'm struggling. I know all these pro guys over here struggling even worse, and everybody at
Yeah.
home thinks we on yachts and having a great time. I'm like,
No,
no,
you're in the
man.
dark, balled up in the couch.
What man? I'm like, yo, y'all don't really realize like what's going on over here. Y'all think that you look at us, you see us on TV, we're making money, we're living this life, man. No, half them guys crying every night. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's real.
And
That's real.
and they dealing with things that they can't talk to anybody about. And so like
Yeah.
I wanted to be that person, and I am that person for my friends. I like to think I am, that like opens these conversations, man. I'll be the first one to say, yo, my freshman, my rookie season, I cried every night. Missed my family,
That's
missed my
real.
friends. You know what I'm saying? I was overweight. I was going bald. Like I was struggling. You know what I'm saying? Like I was struggling that year. And
Yeah.
everybody thought it was cool. And so I said, man, let me start a podcast. Let me like start telling guys like, yo, this is not, I don't know what y'all thought this was, but this is difficult. And so just to be able to say, hey, I'm struggling. Hey, I need some help. Hey, not even I need some help. Let me just talk to somebody. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I open,
I'm passionate about that.
yeah,
I really
I
am.
opened the line of communication with this podcast. Like, yo, let's come on here, let's talk. Let's let everybody know, like, this is what it is, this is what it's not, and I'm working through it. You know what I mean? And just to give them some hope to like continue to do their own thing. So yeah, that was it. That was my kind of experience. But for you, what is, we're talking parents. The people who are listening to this is gonna be parents, a lot of athletes, former athletes. What do you want them to take away from your journey? Do it all.
Resiliency. Y'all heard me say so many different things. And some people get stuck like, wait a minute. What? You lost your mom, you lost your dad, and it's like that you didn't hear me say I stopped or quit anything
Kept
though.
going.
You heard me find another way to get it done.
Kept going.
Just continue to find another way. You heard me talk about the surgeries and that set me down. I found another way. You know, I found something else I was good at, which didn't. So I was able to take my time with healing because now coaching doesn't require me to have technically be healed.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the healing, as you may know, with surgery is emotional. You just sad and you're depressed and you're like insecure. Like you just feel like you're invaluable. Like there are days where like my friends couldn't do anything for me because they did not understand what I was struggling with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it has nothing to do with nothing. The fact that I can't move and run and shift the way I'm used to, I hate myself.
Man.
And it's like you got to get through that. And then I still have to be a mom and pay bills. And it's like, I understand suicide. I get it. I hate it, but I fully understand. And I explained this to my therapist one time, and I said, sometimes it's not that you want to die, you're just tired of being alive. And you don't know what that middle ground is. It's like, I don't want to be out of here, but I don't know how to be here either.
Yeah.
And that is a feeling I think a lot of people deal with. And I dealt with it, but I kept going.
Mm-hmm.
I understood, like, okay, as long as I'm still here, God keeps saying, nope, I'm giving you another day. There's something else I got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And building that resiliency, I honestly believe it just comes from God, sobriety. I keep saying that because you got to feel what you're experiencing in order to deal with it. You know, there are times where I still have to, like, for maybe a week, stop talking to everybody so I can hear myself.
Yeah.
Like I love my friends. I talk to my friends every day. And some weeks I'm like, I ain't got it, y'all. I ain't got the capacity. I gotta hear what's going on with myself. Because they might, have you ever had a friend that just gave you some terrible advice because they just didn't know how to advise you?
Yeah.
And it was like the best thing they could say, but it's like, this is the dumbest you could, it's like, so sometimes I just have to cut that noise off
Yeah.
so I can hear myself and hear God and just get quiet and just, that helps build the resiliency for me, because if I'm not good, nothing is gonna be
Man,
good.
I'm
So
glad I got to catch up with you. There's a lot of similarities, and to hear I didn't know you dealt with all that, man. And I know, like I said, I had 4 surgeries in 2 years, and so in college, and it was tough. And so to hear your resilience and to hear your mindset and how you just, you took it on the chin and kept going. That's all you can do. And there's gonna be
yes.
down times. There's gonna be down periods, and we talk about them all the time. But you can't never let a hard time humble us. You know what I'm saying? So
1000%.
you got to keep
Yeah.
going.
I'm going to start, the more I move into like my online program and when I start doing more with mental health,
Tap
These are the
in.
stories I'm going to share more often, just
Tap
about
in.
like, hey, y'all, this is what I know because I dealt with it. I got
Mm-hmm.
through it. It helped build who I was. I had to learn how to be great without anybody. Not easy.
Yeah.
My dad was my boy. He was also an athlete. He understood me the most. And so when he left, I'm like, oh, I'm on here. You,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, so but that's life. Life is going to happen to you.
It's all you can control your response. That's what I tell people all the time, man. Life's gonna happen.
Yes, that
All
is
you can
so
control is
true.
your response. Sabrina,
Yep.
I appreciate you for coming on here. This was amazing. It was good to sit down
Thank
with you and
you.
connect. I mean, we follow each other on Instagram. Now we're locked in. So I would love to see what you're building and be around for that. And just if I can help in any way, let me know. Like this is, you
Yes,
know,
especially now that I know like you're really into the mental health side of things
yeah.
and that space. What city are you in?
Oklahoma City. Don't talk about Oklahoma City neither. I don't want to. You
Why
got
are
some.
you living
See,
there?
see. You see how everybody treats us. Why are you living there? She said.
You don't have children. You're
That's
not
crazy.
married.
Why are you living there? She said.
Please answer. Why do you live there?
I was, so born in Nigeria, moved here at a young age, and just always been here.
That
Family.
is crazy.
I know, but it's
All your family is there?
my immediate family. Well, so my brother, my middle brother. So I'm the youngest of four.
Oh, but get out of there.
I know.
No.
I
You need to get
know.
out of
I
there.
know.
That should be the first thing. You need to get out of there. It's cold and boring. It's not even a lot of black folks.
There's not. That's for
You
sure.
are isolated over there.
That's true. That is true. My brother lives in Houston. I told you he just moved to Houston from Cali.
You need to come visit your brother. Come
I,
visit. We can go hoop. You can get a real training session
that's
in.
what
Like,
I need
get
to.
around some black folks. Get some sun melon. You need some melon. That just changes
It's
how you
you
feel
hear me
about
right now.
yourself.
You hear me right now. It's cold and I'm sick. That's for sure.
Yeah, of course you
I
are.
can't
Of
even.
course you are. Because you're in
I
Oklahoma.
know. I know.
Oh, but you got to get out of there.
I know. I've been telling myself that. But
What are you afraid of?
my family is here. I got a girl
Your
here. My
family will
family's
come
here.
visit you.
Yeah, but honestly, so I'm trying. I'm not even. I can't even. I can't back it up. All I can say is that it's cheap and it's my family's here. That's what I can say.
Yeah, those are terrible excuses.
I know, man, but I'm working. I'm trying to figure it out. So,
Okay.
nah, but it was good to have you, and we'll stay in touch. If, like I said, if I can help in any way, I will.
Absolutely. I'll hold you to that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Let me know. I would love to. So, anything else you want to lead the people with? Anything at all? No. You
No,
kind of capped
I'm
it out.
pretty
You
open.
capped it out. No.
Yeah,
Well, Sabrina,
1,000%.
Coach
Yeah,
Parr.
I do answer my DMs, y'all. By the way, so don't feel like, oh, I don't want to talk. She not gonna talk to me. I
Yeah,
answer. I
yeah.
talk.
Where can we find you? Where can we find you?
Get up to par on social media. As it's spelled as it sounds. Well, that's on Instagram. What else? I'm mostly on Instagram,
That's
y'all, and then my
Parr with two.
website,
That's
sabrinapar.org.
Parr with two
Um,
R's.
Par with two R's, yes. And again, DM me. I do work with athletes virtually, which is one of my favorite things to do because I feel like we really get to connect no matter where we're at. And I do allow people to fly in to work with me, also a thing that I love to do. But I'm just here just trying to change all the athletes and make them not be so soft. So if you feel like you have an athlete that's a little soft, holla at me. Let's get together so
Yeah.
we can fix that.
Yeah, we're gonna tag you in all the stuff. I can't wait to see this episode. Sabrina, Coach
Okay,
Parr.
sounds good.
Thank you for coming on here, sharing your experiences.